Oh, good morning, concept getters. Good afternoon if you're watching this during the day, and good night, or good evening, or good everything. Actually, everything should be good, right? Anyway, guys, I want us to derive this using the first principle, right? And when you're looking at the question, it looks like it's going to be hectic, but nah, man, it's not. It is just first principle. First principle is the first. The first should be easy, right? I hope. Remember, I'm only responsible for what I say, not how you take it. So we have f of x equals to the square root of x. The question is, how do I even derive this using first principle? Well, to be honest, first principle only uses a particular formula, and then all you have to do is substitute, and then all you have to do is solve or simplify, then all you have to do is cancel, all you have to do is eliminate h, and then boom, right? But with this, it's going to be a bit different. Let's see how that works out. So the first rule, I'm just going to write the rules on the side, right? Well, the first rule when it comes to using first principle is to substitute, okay? So what are you going to substitute? You're going to substitute what? X plus h onto x on the formula, right? So let's see. Remember, you already have f of x equals to square root of x. So all you need now is f of x plus h, which is going to be square root of, where I see x, I substitute by x plus h. And then now you write your formula. The formula is f of prime x is equal to lim when h approaches 0, f of x plus h minus f of x over h, right? Now, what is my f of x plus h? It's this one. And what's my f of x? It's the question. I just have to substitute again those things, right? So I'm going to say my second step is to substitute what? Formulae, right? The formula, right? You're going to substitute both the equations onto the formula. So I'm going to say, okay, which means I have lim when h approaches 0. F of x plus h is what? Square root of x plus h minus square root of x all over h, right? Now with this, it gets interesting because you can never cancel square root of x with square root of x plus h. I don't know if I make sense, right? So what do I do here? That's what makes this a bit challenging for a lot of people. What is it? Rationalization. So the third step will be rationalize, right? It will be rationalize. So how do you rationalize? You basically introduce one, but it's going to be in the form of the conjugate of the numerator. So it's just going to say multiplied by the conjugate. You're going to say square root of x plus h plus square root of x over itself, square root of x plus h plus square root of x. Here it's a minus, here it's going to be a plus. If this was a plus, this was going to be a minus. That's how it works all the time. Clear, right? So then I'm going to multiply out now. I'm going to say lim when h approaches 0. Then I'm going to say, basically, this is more like difference of two squares, right? Remember, every time when you have the first term and the first term are the same. Also, the last term and the last term are the same, but the signs are different. It's difference of two squares. So I'm just going to square the first and the last term and put a minus in between, right? Or you can just do bracketing like this and use distribution method. Do that make sense? But because I'm talking to matriculants, come on. Difference of two squares, right? So I'm just going to say, oh, if I square this, the answer will just be what's inside the bracket. Do that make sense? I mean, under the root sign. Clear? If I have square root of 2 and I square it, the answer will just be 2. So which means the answer here will just be x plus h. The answer here will just be x. So let's see how this works out. I'm going to say, okay, let me cancel this. I'm sorry for wasting your data. Then I'm going to say what? I'm going to say, which means I'm going to be left with x plus h minus x because I squared, right? You'll see when if you try to multiply it out and everything, you're going to find this. Okay. Then you say all over, right? Normally, I don't prefer that you multiply h with both the terms here. just leave this h hanging all the time. Don't multiply it out. Just say h into whatever it multiplies. So you're going to have square root of x plus h, then say plus square root of x. You know why? Because the next step will always be cancelling. What are you cancelling? Everything that needs to be cancelled with each other. Okay, so let's see. What am I going to cancel now? I'm going to say lim h approaches 0, right? I'm going to say, if you haven't noticed, x and x cancel each other. We call it additive inverse. Additive inverse are the same numbers or same digits or same expressions that consist of different signs, right? X is positive, the other one is negative. They cancel each other. They give you 0. Now you are left with h at the top. That h at the top, obviously, we cancel this one because they go once into each other. It's division now. They're not giving you 0. They're giving you 1 when you divide. So which means in your numerator, you'll be left with 1. So I will have 1 over square root of x plus h plus square root of x. Makes sense. Now, every time after cancelling f of x and h, on the last step, you'll always do what? You'll always substitute h with 0 all the time. Do that make sense? All the time, even if it's not a square root of x, even if it was another question, after cancelling the h in your denominator, substitute your remaining h by 0, and when you do that, eliminate this lim. Okay, so you're gonna just say equal to, we no longer write the lim because now h is 0, it's no longer approaching 0, right? So I'm just gonna say 1 over square root of x plus 0 plus square root of x. Now, why didn't I write lim h approaches 0? Because h is now 0. I substituted h as 0. Come on, right? Then I'm gonna say, oh, now what is x plus 0? It's x. Square root of x plus square root of x, square root of x plus square root of x is going to give me 2 and the square root of x. So I'm just going to be left with 1 over 2 and the square root of x. And that's going to be the answer. Easy, ne? Easy. But remember, you guys tend to forget this. Remember, guys, remember to do what? To subscribe and share. How? We want others to pass. Thank you.